Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you a Death Note review. I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done this in 2 months. I haven't done this since August 2nd, 2015 at 6:36 p.m. And you're probably wondering how I know that. It's because I have it like right up here on my screen. It's not like I have a great memory or anything like that. I have it right up here on my screen, so that's how I know that. Uh, but yeah, you're probably wondering why I haven't done a Death Note review in a while. Um, I just got busy with school and going to Hershey Park and other things like that that I didn't have time to really record it as much and sit down and watch it. So I'm gonna try to start being more consistent and do more Death Note reviews for you guys. And I did say I was gonna make more anime. I'm gonna turn this channel into an anime channel. Um, if you checked out the channel update video I posted, um, it's gonna be a channel. It's going to be an anime channel now. I mean, there's gonna be other things besides anime, but it's gonna be mainly anime. And Death Note is not so. And I've started doing Death Note before then, so I'll continue to do it. But I'm gonna try to do more anime based stuff. Um, so let's get to this episode of Death Note. Um, this episode is season 1, episode 11, and it's called Assault. And the episode originally came out on December 12th, 2006, and then in English, which is like in the United States, because originally it came out probably in like Japan, because the story of Death Note takes place in Japan. So, but in English, the English version came out on January 4th, 2008. So not like it's about a 4 year, no, 2 year time span. Sorry. Um, and this episode was great. So the episode kicks off. We see Light is like outside watching, outside looking out his window, and then Ryozaki, and the other task people, the other people in the task force, talking about how they're gonna find Ray Pember's missing wife. If you remember that episode, because Light killed her off a while ago. And yeah, they're gonna like do a search part of it, but then they're gonna make it like its own thing. Then it's not gonna be part of the case. It's gonna be like a police investigation where they draw it up and everything like that. Um, and we find out, by the way, that it's been 4 months since she's gone missing. So they're trying to at least give us like how much time has gone by since things happened. I kind of like how they do that. And then somebody comes in and tells Ryozaki to turn the TV on, the news, and he turns the news on, and the reporters say we're being held against our will. Pretty much our lives are at stake. Our lives are being held at will, and they're gonna play a message because I don't know. The last episode they set the tapes. Well, Kira had set the tapes because she said Kira has our lives at stake, and in the last episode, Kira had sent those tapes. So and then this episode they're actually gonna play the tapes, and there was 4 tapes. The first tape, Kira had predicted that two criminals would die. It was just 2 criminals, and would die at this time on this day, and they did. So then the second tape actually has like a message that's like played on the news, and when they play this, it says it's like L, how he would used to have how he usually has like his little when he comes on TV, he's like mysterious. Kira hides, and his voice is disguised. It's like a very deep, one of those very deep disguised voice that you see on computers. And Kira just says that pretty much that he predicted all the deaths, and he wants pretty much he says that he's not doing this. He only wants to create peace in the world. He wants to just have the cops make peace with him, because he's only trying to get rid of all the criminals in the world. And then he also starts counting down, like not counting, but counting up, because it said like it was like 5:48, and he started counting up like like the clock was going by, and he predicted that at 6 o'clock, someone that was just doing the news was gonna have a heart attack and die, and they do. And then the same thing happens to this guy on like Sports Center, that they have down there, and the Ryozaki doesn't understand. He's like Kira's testing us. And obviously the guy that runs this TV show is obviously somewhat happy because he's obviously happy because his ratings are gonna go sky high because everybody is Kira's like the big thing. And Ryozaki wants this broadcast to be stopped. So they're trying to call in, but nobody is answering. So then Okita, one of the guys that was there, is just going to go down there himself and stop the broadcast. And then as he's doing this, Kira is saying how he wants, like I was just saying before, I just kind of got out of order, how he just wants to make a better universe, and he said that him and the cops could work together. And there's two choices. So if they say yes, Kira made a tape of what he's gonna say if they do say yes. And if they say no, then the same. They made like another tape. He made another tape saying what happens if he says no. I don't remember if he gave like a certain number of time if he had to decide that they had to decide. But yeah, that's what happens. So then the chief is watching this, but he from the hospital because he had a heart attack the last episode, and his wife turns it off because obviously it's not good of his health. So the chief says, "But I'm still in charge of this investigation, so I have to be up to date on it." So she turns it back on. So then Okita pretty much gets to the studio where they're filming this thing, where they're filming this broadcast. And he tries to get in, but the police officer won't let him in. And he goes to take out his gun and shoot his way and shoot the glass so he can get in because the door's locked. But then he has a heart attack, and obviously that means Kira had something to do with that. Kira, and he tries to press his belt button that contacts the task force. But he ends up dying before he can, and this was great. That pretty much we're supposed to be like, what happened? Like, why is this happening? Because Kira's not supposed to know their names because he needs a name and a face. He can't just have a face but no name. And Kira's not supposed to know their names because they have like fake names. They have the alienated names that Ryozaki gave them when they first met. So then one of them, Mr. I forget his name, Mr. Lums. I don't remember his name, not gonna lie. But one of the task force is just gonna go down there to help him out. But Ryozaki says that wouldn't be a good idea because then the same thing's gonna happen to you. And he's wondering too, like, how is he able to kill us if he doesn't know our name or anything like that? He's like, it may be possible that he found out what our names are. And he just gets pissed, and Ryozaki then says that it's not worth risking your life for. And then the guy says, but isn't it worth, but didn't you say we were going to have to risk our lives for this? And he's like, well, yeah, there's a difference between doing it and actually doing something that's going to cost you your life. Like, is going to cost you your life. So then he realizes he's just upset about his friend's death. So he realizes, that he's won. So then when the chief's wife comes back into the hospital to his room in the hospital, he's gone. He's nowhere to be found. So then the chief is driving a bus, and he just drives it right into the studio. He breaks the glass. He just drives it right in there. I thought this was great. And then the chief has a towel over his face so that way Kira can't see him. And the chief wants to know where this broadcast is being filmed. and Ryozaki and all them don't know who drove the bus in there. They just think like it's a police officer trying to trying to be a force to be trying to stand up to Kira. And then the chief goes in there and he tells the guy that runs this show to cut the feed, to stop the broadcast. He wants all the tapes right now. But he doesn't want to do that because his lives at stake. Because Kira threatened to kill these guys later if they don't play these tapes. So then the chief threatens to kill him right now. He pulls out his gun and threatens to kill him right now if he doesn't give him the tapes right now. He says, "You did this because you let Kira kill you." And then it starts playing L's theme song, that mysterious theme song they play when L pops up, which I like that song. It's a great song, and it also fits the mood of this show. It makes it feel like it's like a mystery, and it, I just like it. So then he gives him the tapes. So then Ryozaki calls the other guy that's working on this case, like the guy that probably would show up when like L was on the computer. I forget the guy's name. And he wants something to be done about this before this gets out of hand. He's like, well, we shouldn't be revealing ourselves. But then when he sees the other cop pass away that wouldn't let Okita in, because he gets a heart attack because Okita killed him, he's like, okay, I understand. He realizes how bad the situation is. So then the chief calls Ryozaki's phone, and he tells him that that he left. He couldn't just sit back and watch these videotapes being played, which I like that he did that. And he asked him if he's okay. He's like, I never felt better. So he's like, I can't get out the front door because then Kira would kill me unless I use the bus. So then Ryozaki tells him to go out the front door, and he's like, okay, because he's like thinking it's weird, but he probably didn't think it was weird because he knew Ryozaki had a plan because he's really smart. So then he goes out the front door, and there's a ton of police officers and everything like that, just guarding the door, making sure that Kira doesn't show up, and they have their faces covered, and the chief just drives away, and I thought that was great. And everybody talks about how that what Kira's doing is wrong, that Kira's skipping has to stop, and we have to stand up to this. And the guy even says his name, like the reporter says his name that was on the TV talking about this, and then he said, then he says, I know it's gonna cost me my life, but she's probably gonna die from this. So then the chief comes back to the hotel and hands him the tapes, and then he thanks him, and we find out that he sent them using another victim, saying that he probably controlled him to do that. So then he wants it to be investigated immediately, and he's going to watch the tapes. And on the tapes, if they had said yes, they would have played the third tape. And the third tape says that he thanks him for like the cooperation, and they have to come on TV and tell him some criminals, because Kira wants the criminals' names, so that way he can just kill these people. And he wants them to come on TV to make sure and say their name and everything, so that way they won't pull anything. But if they say no, it's the same thing really, except it's like threats. That's what he says. But they choose no, so he has the news play the fourth tape, and the fourth tape says that pretty much the same thing. But he says that for this to continue, they have to kill like the person running the task force or Ryozaki, and they have 4 days to decide, which is going to be great. I can't wait to see what the decision they make. That's going to be a great way to build up the episodes. So then Light, we find out that Light didn't do any of this, and he even says that he has the act of God on his side, the god of death, and he says that he likes this in a way, because then this is going to get rid of Ryozaki. He could just let this play out and let Ryozaki die. And he also finds out too that this person has the Shinigami eyes, which means they can see like their name, their name, and all that stuff. and so obviously he's more powerful than Light is. And Light says that he can, like I said, he can just let this play out. But then again, he's making a mockery of Kira by just killing people willy nilly. And he says that if he gets caught, then they'll discover the Death Note, so they can't have that. So he said the only way to do this is to catch the other Kira is for him to join the task force, so that way he could watch over L and this other Kira. So I thought this was great. I did not see that coming at all. So then the next scene, the chief comes in and tells Ryozaki that that most of the people are voting that he should reveal himself, and that way this will all be over. But he says they still have 3 days to decide. And he's like, and then he says, I'm gonna be killed by the first person that jumped on the Kira bandwagon. And he's like, and one of the guys is like, what are you talking about? And he says that this person, he pretty much figured it out, that this is a fake Kira. He doesn't want to look, but he doesn't want to look at it as a fake Kira. He wants to look at it as a second Kira. And he says the reason why he thinks this is because the people that he killed in that first tape, are like not really known criminals. And he just did that to prove to the people that were gonna play his tape that he was the real Kira. And I thought that was great. Ryozaki doesn't like the way this guy operates because he just killed innocent people. Normally when Kira kills people, he kills like the criminals and people that are just getting in his way. He doesn't kill just random people like those news reporters and stuff like that. So then Ryozaki says that pretty much asks if Light can join the task force. So the chief says, does that mean that you don't suspect my son as being Kira anymore? And he's like, he didn't say that, but he says that if he can cooperate with us, they can catch the second Kira because they can help him out. But Ryozaki doesn't want doesn't want them to tell Light that the hunting the second Kira. They want him to think that they're hunting the first Kira, like Light. So they don't even want him to know that they're hunting a second Kira. That this is the same one. This is what I'm trying to say. I just got lost with my words there. And I can't wait to see what happens because now Light's gonna be working with these guys, the guys that he doesn't want to be working for. Maybe Light can find out these guys can get close enough to these guys where he can find out their names. But then that wasn't it. There was one more thing that happened. We pretty much find out who the second Kira is. There's a girl, Shinigami, and the reason why she's doing this is because she pretty much has a crush on the Kira. She doesn't know who he is yet, but on Light. And this was just to get his attention. And what the Shinigami says, well, I hope you understand you can die from this. Like, what if Kira doesn't like that you're doing this? And then she says, well, it doesn't matter because I'm more powerful than you because I got the Shinigami eyes. And then it shows her face, and then the episode ends. And then she does seem like a nice girl. She has like this. She likes the same things that Light likes. So it's not like that. She does seem like that she has a pure heart. She's like Light. Because she just did this to get his attention. And I thought this was a great episode. It sets up a lot of things. It was really actiony. And I thought it was great. They really set up a lot of things. Like when Light meets this second Kira face to face. They set up like what's gonna happen once those 4 days are up. Whether or not Ryozaki and the person running the task force are gonna reveal themselves. I just can't wait to see what happens now. It's great. So great episode. If I had to rate it, it'd be like I gave it a 10 out of 10. There was nothing wrong with it. I loved it. It was great. And yeah, overall, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna end off this video. Sorry if I was a little bit rusty, but I haven't done a Death Note review in a while, so you know. But yeah, thanks guys for watching this video. If you want to subscribe to some other channels, Wrestling Fortune 44 is right up here, where I talk about my wrestling videos. You could subscribe to my On the Talkinator channel where I talk about like non-wrestling videos, like videos where I talk about movies, where I talk about TV shows that aren't anime stuff. Um, so you can check that out, and then you can check out James Hebert, where he makes a lot of music videos, and then Wayne Youth Wrestling, where he has his own little wrestling company that he's using WWE 2K14 for. So that's a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it, guys. You could subscribe to my channel down below if you want to check out future content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.